The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi everybody, welcome to the weekly Noyantis Usergroup. Today is 3rd of August 2020. Myself and John are your hosts. As always, if you have any queries or questions or ideas, solutions, feel free to raise your hand, pop the question in, and we'll get the mics opened accordingly. Before we do, I always start with updates. This last week we got an update out to the product suite, basically a version 19.2 CodeJock compatibility update. So that went out. New versions are available of the templates. Interestingly, one user who's using Clarion 6, I'm not sure what build, so I will have to do some checking of that. But one particular user using Clarion 6 has reported that they're getting template registry errors on the calendar. Now, I tried it obviously in Clarion 8 and I didn't try 9 because if it's okay on 8, it's okay afterwards. I hadn't fired up a VM and tried it in Clarion 6, I have to admit. So that's something that's going to be looked into. Started to look into it today, connected to their system and took a look. And it's just standard Clarion template code. So why it's complaining of the particular lines in question, I don't know. So I will keep you posted and report back next week on that. But it's more of an older version of Clarion 6. As I say, I'm not even sure what build. So it might be 6.0, it might be 6.1, it might be 6.3. We shall know more next week. Okie dokie. So all updates went out as I said. There is an update to the report control coming out, which actually impacts on others. So I will cover that and explain more in due course. So I'm trying to think of those other updates there to make you aware of. I'm convinced there was, and for the life of me, I can't remember what it was. So I'll have to think on that and come back to you. So we had to cut the webinar off at around 2 hours last week because I had to go. In fact, today's going to be a really keen webinar. We are going to finish on the hour mark, unfortunately, only because I have an appointment where I have to leave the office dead on 5 o'clock. But I want to pick up basically from a questions wise where we left off last week. So there's one of the hands are up. I don't get the name. I'll open the mic. Chuyan?
Yes.
So sorry for not getting to you last week. We actually cut a couple of people short, but we did go up to a couple of hours. And normally, as I've already done many times, I have no problem sticking around.
I understand. Yeah.
We just run out. But we start with you this week to make it fair. So yeah, fire away.
Yeah, I have 4 questions. I think for you or me, it's easy to answer. Well, first, remember I asked you about the how to know the active tab pane. I have multiple tabs. Yeah, have you got that working or some way to let us, because we're waiting for that for
the new build. That yes, there is new methods and property and so on and so forth for the docking panes, which report back on the active pane. I will get a build out of the docking pane this week. It will probably be the last thing on Friday, I will admit. It'll probably be, but you will get it this week. That covers the active pane, so you could definitely get that. And I'll even show you today how I'm making use of it myself within the report control when the two are linked together. So yeah, the answer on that is yes. You've got new methods to get active pane and to broadcast messages to all panes and so on and so forth.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That sounds good. So we don't want the user to see a blank pane. So which is you know, it's lazy open, but we don't know how to when to open that.
Yes,
Okay.
no, you've got that. You do have, there's a derived embed point called action, which does action, and you can interrogate the active pane at that point. But
work around, you mean?
to work around, but I would just, if you wait until the release this week, then next week we can actually cover the actual usage of it, and I think you'll get exactly what you're after.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay. So this before Friday, you mean we can get
on Friday? I'll get a beta release out, and then we can discuss some of the content of it and demonstrate it next Monday.
Oh, okay. So the other question is, you know, Dries, who is our
Oh
employee,
yes, Dries, yeah.
He's is a key programmer. So he found in the DockingPane class found the band error. I can, if you want to know where he just fixed that in that class.
Oh, okay.
He let me to tell you that. I don't know if you want to know what
Please, then we can put it into the new release. Yes, please.
Yeah, if you can open your sure. I can share my screen.
Share your screen. No problem. And the change method. Find error DockingPane. Yes, okay.
So did you see my?
Only very quickly.
It's my laptop or screen. I have two screens. I don't know which ones.
Okay, so I'm looking at DockingPane.DockPane.
Yeah. So you see, he added some here band then because this method is called with the if you don't do this way, it will have some error. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you want, I can send you this the changes.
Please, yes, yeah. We like problems, but we also like solutions. So that's good.
Okay. So that's for that. The other issue is he want me to tell you the solution. We somehow we need to derive your task panel class. So that way we can do some specific thing. But now the task panel because the template won't let you to derive. So it just like this, you can have your derived class. So what he this is what Dries has done. So they create our derived class so we can highlight item whichever you selected. Easy to do that. I don't know because your template the class is not a variable, is a fixed called text panel. The text panel class. So he made change to the template also to do this. So he asked you if you can make a change so easy to derive a different class.
Okay. Well, yeah, we can always work. That's no problem. I would get Dries to drop me an email, and we'll arrange a date and time where we can connect up, and obviously yourself as well, and we can discuss the requirements and the changes.
Yeah, this is the one of to the issue he want to the other one I told you already, the one is error fix, but this there is another one he want to ask because remember the class the task panel and let me see, task panel and that class has items queue. So we have the items queue and groups queue, group queue and item queue both are private. So it's make us too hard to access. I can show you what currently after he made change. So the so we highlight, so it highlight items. Yeah, that's what the change he asked. See if you can make the to those queues as protected instead of private.
Well, we'll be doing some changes in that area to do with optimizations, and when we do that, the private will be being taken off, so that will make it easier for you to do that anyway.
Oh, so you mean that eventually the queues that will be
the queues you'll be able to maintain yourself all the time. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's good news. Yeah, that's the question here I need to ask you. So I will show you what looks like I mentioned for the blank pane. This is the multiple panes. There are multiple panes. So I closed it. So you see this blank.
Yeah, it's not detecting the.
Yeah, that's a major thing for us. So
yeah, well, that's no problem. You will be able to do that, because one of the challenges we've had, and others might be interested in this, is just like you've got there, you've got the tabs. We have very similar, but on those panes we have report controls, and we want report control to only load when it's visible. And that's one of the things we discussed last week, some of the upcoming changes to do with the equivalent of active invisible. And there's Clarion tabs, which obviously we can detect, but there's also DockingPane tabs. So we've got the same not issue, but we've got the same requirements as you there. When a tab is closed or the user has navigated to another tab, we need to know that has now gained focus, and the content of that tab now needs to be reloaded. So that's, yeah, I will demonstrate that next week.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's all I have.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. So we will start to with yourself next week, and that will lead nicely into the new updates that we're doing. So that's very good.
Okay, thank you.
Okie dokie. Okay. So as we just mentioned there, we covered some changes last week. John, I'm not sure. I'll bring the presenter back to myself. John, I'm not sure. You weren't here last week. One of the things we spoke about was a new active invisible type technology, which for the report controls. And basically let me come out of here a second. I'll actually go into one of our apps which is using it. Actually, no, it's not in that one. Do you know what? I will actually switch back to the other, just to show you where it is. This is on the legacy, but it's obviously on the report control. Not that one. I just want a standard report control. And it goes straight on to the point we was making a minute ago. So we've got the reset fields. You've got the reset on gain focus, which is nothing more than basically when it detects a gain focus event for the window, it can reset. But then you've also got the reset on gain visibility. Now that gain visibility could be when you're on a Clarion tab and you switch to that tab and you've got a report control on it, then you want it to be loaded, but only at that point. So we'll keep using this one, we'll use it again. But basically, quickly go on to here. Now we're using Clarion tabs at the bottom. So let me just bring up a test person. Sorry. So we're using Clarion tabs here, and this gets reset when you first visit the tab. So of course, if we have a look at that, there, A has lots of correspondence. I'm going to go there. They happen to have 3 as well. That's typical. Actually, looks like the isn't resetting. Yeah, that's a better one. So they've got no appointments. They've got 1. I'll go back there, and now you can see reset. So basically, it's that you only really want to load the data as and when the user truly requires it. Now, of course, what that could be is just as we had a second ago. These could be separate docking panes, each with on their own tab. So instead of a Clarion tab, they could be tabbed panes. And of course, you've got sheet controls within the suite controls of CodeJock themselves, which also have tabs. So what we've got to really do is tie all of the workings together so that when one of these, the active pane, has changed, then we need to know that we need to know it's become active, which will help Chuyun a minute ago in his quest to load the active content. And 2, we need it for the report controls and other types of controls. So it might be property grids, might be other things which need to be reset, but only under condition. So they're the upcoming changes. So I think on that, Roberto's just said focus changing. I'm just trying to get. Sorry, I'm trying to get the window to resize, and it's just not letting me. Hi, Roberto.
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, hi. So yes, basically that is. Have you got a beta of that then? Because I know you said about focus changing, but I'm not aware I've actually released that.
19.2 has it.
19.2 has that. The 4.17.
Hold on. Oh, I'm sorry. No, the latest release. I'm sorry, not 19.2. I'm on 19.1, but I've had the latest set of templates, which has focus changing.
Where does it have that? You just lost me a little. That's all.
Okay, and then in the report control link, there's a focus changing method. The version that I just downloaded.
Oh, hang on, just 1 second. Right, now I understand where you're going. Right, sorry, just 1 second. Let me find out when that was introduced. Yep, 4.16 has focus changing. That's an event, that's a derived method.
Correct.
Yes. And that will be called, I'll tell you what it'll be called. There's a callback event within the report control called focus changing. And what this will do now, we're trapping it, doing some little bits of magic behind the scenes, but that's beside the point. And then we also let you know that the focus is being changed. So you would use it for the likes of the edit in place. So you'd definitely be able to tell going from tab to tab. But that's more the focus changing within the report control itself. That's not this game visibility. No, the focus changing
No.
is just to do with
Correct.
what's currently within focus within the report control itself. And if you're changing from column to column and selecting cells, that is a focus changing, if you will.
Yes, sir, but the column is not coming through.
Right. Okay. Okay, I can take a look at that. So you get that should receive 3 parameters for focus changing. The first column,
Correct.
the first parameter is the row ID. The second is the column ID, and the third is you can actually cancel it. So you could actually pass it a true as the third parameter,
Right.
sorry, because that's passed by address. So if you actually change that parameter within your embed code, then that would technically go and stop the focus from changing.
Correct.
And
I'm just actually testing this as it comes in before the parent and after the parent, and the column does not have anything in it. And I know that through the Ultimate Debug and the fact that I'm displaying what's coming through on the window. So, and when I go and edit the field, I can see the column coming through, but when I'm going through the focus changing, I don't see it at all.
Okay.
On the screen.
Should. Well, I'll take one quick look. I mean, we don't want to, because we're up against time today, I'll take more as reports, if you will. But just let me take one quick look. Might be something, blatant.
No, it looks. The code looks okay, but
yeah, it should take. That's what I expect. The first, it takes. We don't really bother about the third one, but it passes me a row ID first parameter, which of course I interrogate. The column ID, which objects these are. Sorry, I should say. So the row object, the column object, which of course I take care of. The new particular item, I'm not really bothered about that at this moment, I'll be honest. And then I can set the fourth one. So basically, but that's the third one for you from the methods point of view. So I call that, and if you have set it to true, then I go and set that fourth one for you and block it. So I'm not seeing anything there. The column ID is the column object. If the column object equals that.
Which looks okay. Everything looks okay there.
It kind of does look okay.
I looked at the method to make sure if I could see anything obvious. I did not.
No, it's more the calling of the method. The method itself is just receiving. No, it's more the calling of. But okay, I've got a note. I will investigate accordingly. Sorry about that.
Oh no, it's okay. I mean, if you need to see it, just let me know and I can demo it for you.
I can put some. Now we've got the edit in place in the demo app. I can put some debug on that and just watch it going through accordingly. So, all right. No, but thank you all. But thank you all the same.
All right. Did you make any? Did you see the? Did you make any progress on the digits, the decimal digits not coming through?
No, I saw your message come through, but I was deep inside of a project at the time, so I saw the message and I know we quickly spoke, but I was deep inside a project wondering why things had stopped working. We still, they always throw you them curveballs. So I really had time. But from what I saw, it was related to the picture. But remember the pictures within a report control, if you've got certain pictures,
right.
Press a little here. Let me go to a column.
The Mr. Alejandro Elias actually looked at it during the Spanish webinar, and he actually got it to work. He actually got the decimals to come through.
Right. Well,
But
time permitting, I'm going to actually cut to Alejandro towards the end. So I will ask him then.
all right, thank you, sir.
No problem. So John, you're next. I believe you've got a question for us today.
I do. Has to do with the speed of loading the report control. So I was going to show my screen and see if we can get it going a little faster than it's going right now.
Did you hear what we were talking about a minute ago about the new resets?
I did.
Yeah, so they might be of interest, but of course it's only once you've got, if you've got to load, you've got to load. But what we're trying to do is give you the equivalent of the active invisible and so on and so forth. And give you the equivalent of that within the legacy as well.
Yeah, that's nice because if you have a lot of tabs, you don't want to load everything up if they don't.
No, definitely not.
Right.
No. Yeah. So that's the whole point. But it's not just tabs. It could be a sheet in a hidden group. What it does is it calculates a parentage and has a look at if it's truly visible. Just because the sheet is the tab selected, if it's part of a hidden group, it's not truly visible. So it does work out its visibility and traps that accordingly.
Very cool. Okay, so here's what we got. This is updated, and I'm loading in all the templates that you're using in your application now.
Okay.
You have to add a template to do that, but anyway. So here's the problem I've got. I've got this template summary, and it's loading everything in. Now, when I click on this, it's going to load 26,000 records into a Clarion queue, and that takes about 5 seconds. But then it's taking like anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute to load the report control. So I'll show you. So I just clicked on it. It's loading up the queue. Okay, so the queue is loaded. That came up on the other screen. So there's 26,000 records here that are loaded up. Not a lot of fields. Well, maybe there are. Okay, anyway, so I'll close it. Now it's starting to load up. It's on my other screen, so I have to wait. So it's loading up the main report control.
Right.
And I'm doing it using groups. I'm just looping through the queue and assigning it, the group, and then I'm not refreshing it each time. I'll show you that code in a second. So anyway, it's going to take it up to a minute, I guess, to load this in. So I want to see if there's a way to speed it up. I'm sure there's something we can do, right? Maybe.
Well, yes. There's already changes. I spoke about, I've mentioned these in past webinars. What's actually happening there is you are adding the row, and if you've got the group, which is by far the better way to do it, and so on, it's loading that data, calling the add row. It's priming up all the items so that if you've got 10, 15 columns, then it has to create and load each one of those, each column, sorry, each cell is an actual object in its own right. So there's a lot going on it, to be fair. So the more columns you've got, the more workload it's actually having to do. Even loading via the group, it's still got to do it. That's fine. We have we have no choice about that. That's how CodeJock have you do it. But when you create a row, it gives you the row object, but it's purely empty. There's nothing in it whatsoever. And then you have to create each one of the items and give it a default value. Now, I can speed up, but it's more of a class change. It's not a fast fix today, I'll be honest with you. I can speed up the calculation of the default value as it's going in there, because it also currently has to do some extra checks and so on. So I can speed that up. But the major thing I'm trying to take out the equation is not only is it then having to do all that, it's then maintaining its own Clarion queue within the class. And I want to basically remove the requirement for that, so that we're only ever talking to the report control and its contents. A bit like the calendar. The calendar doesn't have a queue of events. It just queries the calendar, the actual physical control, and gets all of the data from it. for the report control is going down the exact same path, but currently it's still heavily based on a Clarion queue behind the scenes. So when you're adding a row, it's adding a row object, it's adding n number of item objects, calculating their defaults, and then going off and calculating another Clarion queue as well. So there's quite a lot of work going on. There's definitely some streamline capability to go into it. It's just it's just basically scheduling it to finish it off, really.
Okay. It finally came up. You can see it's on the screen.
Yeah,
I could.
The grouping and so on. I mean, I know you've got free tier grouping there, but that shouldn't really take any time. I maybe tweet that off. I don't think it'd change any timings. Technically, it would, but it's something we wouldn't really be able to measure.
It's pretty nice. Show you
Yeah,
where all
I can see the interface you've gone for. It's exactly. The tip, it was you who gave me the tip where you could load just the first level, and then when you click on one, it opens it to finds its children. So you could do it as a tree.
Yeah, I could do that. I like this because I could group things differently.
I was going to say you lose the grouping
procedures or something. Yeah, I lose the grouping.
Yeah, and you lose the capability of and the filter as well. You could turn an inline filter and just say, show me all the ones for. I'm just trying to see what your columns are. So a particular module, and you could quickly filter just there and then on the screen. So you the approach you're using is correct. That's taking some time.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. It's kind of
just out of interest. I think the grouping shouldn't really take any time. Just turn the grouping off.
See, that makes a difference.
Oh,
there it goes. Finally did it.
That might be part of the issue.
Here. Okay. Anyway,
got your records, yeah. So you got your queue. Priming up the group. Perfect.
Yep.
There is one extra thing I can do there, which I am actually looking at as well. If a column doesn't have a value, I'm not going to actually create the item. I'm going to create the item on demand rather than basically, let's say you've got a row with 15 columns. I'm not saying you've got 15 there, but you've got a row with 15 columns, and you only actually have values in the first 4. Currently, 15 empty objects are then created and then populated with potentially some data. Well, the changes planned are to only create the actual raw item on demand. That will help load time.
I think the groups are probably slowing it a little bit because I just added those in. I added in default grouping. I can take them out. There, okay, no groups.
Okay.
I just thought it'd be nice to have a default group, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. And that is one of the real powers of what you're doing there. So no, it's needed. Mind you, if it's just a group and what's doing it, then I'm kind of going to be a little stuck on what we can do there.
It's loading up on the other screen. Okay, here we go.
Okay, so you let me know when you close that screen.
Okay, so here's template summary. I took out the debug queue part. So now it's loading up.
Oh, is it? I was going to start a timer, but yeah, okay.
Oh, it's been about 15 seconds. Yeah, I feel like I was getting about a 30-second load on it, and now it's up to over a minute, so it might be the groups.
I wonder if there's any 26,000. I mean, it's an easy enough test to replicate here. Just give myself something with 26,000, 26,000 rows, and then do some playing about, changing the grouping at runtime.
Oh, still loading. Oh, so I don't think it's the groups.
That's good. Kind of hope it's not, because if it was, there'd be little I could do about it. But in the fact that it's not, then good. That puts that gives us a fighting chance of being able to see what we can do. Just
Yeah, Alejandro's saying that debug makes it slower, but I don't think I'm running any debugs.
On that, so you got a report control. So I'm going to put make a note here, load speed. What kind of so 26,000 records?
Mm-hmm.
How many columns, just roughly?
10 maybe, 11.
Yeah, it's fine. Got some of ours. We've got like 40 and 50.
Yeah, the loading from the table isn't that long. See, it was like 5 seconds or so. That's all SQLite stuff. It's pretty good.
Oh yeah, I started actually. It got not binned but shelved a particular project, changing one of our standalone applications over to SQLite. I think when I get time to go back to it, I will continue it, because I was quite impressed with it, to be fair. I know it's not multi-user, but putting that aspect aside, it did seem pretty good.
It loaded finally. Okay. Yeah, it's taking all over.
That's crazy. Yeah, that was crazy. And then, I was going to say, just try some sorting there. Yeah, okay.
That came up okay. Module. It's taking a second or so, but not terribly long, huh? That's not contracting. It's supposed to contract everything. I guess that is. Okay, that did contract everything. Drop everything. Yeah, I don't know. It seems to be acting pokey, doesn't it?
And if you try and put, what was your design? Application modules was a third one or something?
It's flashing a little bit. There it goes. What did I do? I think I expanded everything, right?
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of stuff in here. I mean, there's up to 26,000 rows, right? I mean, I could go the other way with, dropping the tree and just loading stuff in. It would definitely be faster. You just won't have the flexibility.
Hang fire on that. I'm more than happy. We won't have no time restraints next week. If you can hang fire till next week, let's put decent time into playing about, doing a test app, loading some dummy data, 20 odd, and maybe we're punching it more towards the end of the webinar next week, so that if we've got other questions for people and they're going, okay, how can I accomplish ABC, then we can do these things. But then the actual report control, some of the changes I was on about, like creating the items on demand and that kind of thing, maybe we could. The new report control will be released by then, so it's not as though I'll be fighting with two different versions. So if you can hang fire till the latter end of next week's webinar, then we'll stick around. Everyone's welcome to stick around as well and watch, but we could do it then.
Okay.
So it does mean hanging around till next week, but yeah, like I said, the other report control, the 4.17, I think it is. Where is it? It's one I prepared earlier, 4.17, yes. That will be out by next week, and so on. And that includes these, the game focus and the game visibility enhancements, and so on. So then basically we won't be on 4.18. but it won't be like a pressing build, so we can play about. And it'll be a nice clean way to get your beta to you as well. So if that's okay, we'll do that next week. And anyone's allowed to join in, and you probably hear various lots of swearing when it's not working, but that's fine. That's fine. That's whole dev.
That's right.
So, but yeah, okay. Cool. Yeah, no problem. Right, because I'm really up against the clock. Where are we?
15 minutes left.
Yeah, but Alejandro's saying, are you try using buffer? I don't think it's not the loading, Alejandro. I do actually think he's saying the debug can really slow it down, but like you just said, I think you've got it turned off and so on. Don't think the buffer would help on this scenario because it's not really the reading from the SQLite, I should say. I don't think it's so much that. Although he is right, I would. Does SQLite support buffer statements?
Yeah, I think so.
I normally have them turned on my SQL commands and so on.
Yeah,
but
I'm loading it up with Ultimate SQL, which has buffer already in there.
So I don't think it's a loading. It's something I'm looking at for for my own applications as well. The load on game visibility and so on, all these optimizations where that's fine, you can do all the yourself, you do all the designing from the table structure and the functionality, but then you get the real life of, hang on a second, why is it slow loading 20 odd thousand and this that, and the other? So, and I've got it in here, why is it slow when I'm switching from one to the other or loading appointments and going on to such and such a thing? So I'm looking at optimizations all the time. And we've already started genuinely on the report control. That's why I already know about this creating the objects, because here's a good example. Go back to that one. So we've got 5, I don't know, probably 10, 12, and then we've got all these columns. So we're looking, it's probably 25, 30, maybe 35 columns in ours. And then in real life, this patient database, they're in the thousands. So you've got thousands of records with lots of columns, and there's a lot of objects being created for absolutely no reason. So like here, they've got no return code, no NAS, no mobile. There's lots of these, first visit date, and so on. So if I create these when required, i.e. go and set the value, I need an object, but don't create them when not needed, that's ultimately going to save a lot of creation time, and so on. So that's the optimizations what we'll be playing about with next week, and we'll just put simple debugging, start and end, so it's not going to slow any loading down or anything like that. We'll just be loading from a fictitious clarion queue, and we'll just keep trimming it back. It's exactly what I've done with the other, like the command bars and so on and so forth. To put a start and end, and just keep looking at where the slowdown is, and then working like hell on it to bring it down. The report control does support a virtual mode, but it's not good. It basically it has you painting over this at runtime, and you lose all the functionality of what you're trying to achieve, the grouping, the filtering, and so on and so forth, because it's not truly got the data in it. So the only real way of doing it is to get the data in there.
Alrighty, Alejandro had something he wanted to show you. I think that's looks like
can do. But before we do, I want to switch to Alex. So let me come back to me. Where am I? Okay. So back onto. Oh, crikey. So yeah, there's me saying this. So we're back on mine. This was what I was on about just then a second ago. So you can see this report control. This has got it's probably 30 odd columns on that, and in reality, this where it's being used on site, they've got thousands of records in there. So we're creating all these. You see here, for that cell, for that cell, for that cell, and we're bringing, I don't know, maybe there. So there we've got next due, and you've got hardly any, only 2 of them rows have got data, which means for the rest of them, I'm creating the object just to show nothing. So I might as well not create the object in the first place. So it's things like that which I was on about. I forgot we were looking at your screen rather than mine. So that's what we're referring to. from the optimizations. Okay, so Alex, where are we? Alex, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Oh, sorry.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
So, Alex, a few weeks ago, reported an issue with ReportControl browser enhancer in legacy. When we thought we'd, for those who followed it, we thought we'd got it corrected. And I thought last week I was really happy that we got it corrected because I showed Alex this. This is in dev mode, so the screen looks really ugly. So anybody watching this for the first time or watching on catch up, you wouldn't normally have a screen look like this at all. But yes, basically we was happy because we wasn't getting half rows down at the bottom. So we watched previous webinars to see the tricks, what we've done, and so on. But basically, it now paints it accordingly. So we can see there, the last one we've in the report control is 11. So that's where we're up to. And then you, of course, told me about DockingPane. That's correct. Which threw another spanner in the works. So we added it to DockingPane. So here is where we're up to on it. And it's all about the initial load. And it's a little more complicated. I sent an email to you on Friday saying, I think we're done, except for the initial load, which I've just got to look at, and something related to the ABC version of this when hosted in DockingPanes. It turns out the two are actually directly linked. So it weren't just legacy, it was linked to this as well. So just to show you progress, if I just do a tiny bit of a resize, this is hosted in a DockingPane, if you remember from last week. We've got a dummy pane on the left, ReportControl on the right. Sorry, Clarion browse with a ReportControl browse enhancer attached to it on the right. Okay, so we are getting that, and you will get the loads accordingly. And if we resize, you will get that, and so on and so forth. So we will get exactly, even, I don't know if you quickly saw there, I'll just do that again. It's added down to 43, and if we take it back off, it trims it back, so you don't even see the phantom rolls there. So it's doing exactly what we're after, which of course is great. So the only problem now lies, and is what I've been investigating prior to today, and we'll continue after this, is down to just that initial load. That's the only thing what's holding this up. That's the only thing what's holding it up. The fix actually will not come from the report control. The fix will actually come via the DockingPane. And the reason I say that is, we know, so let me go back into this. We know the report control is doing its job correctly and resizing. Okay. I'm not saying there's not a fault. What I'm saying is where I've got to investigate the issue, if you will. And we know that is taking all the resize events and so on and so forth. So that's not quite big enough. Go to that. That is big enough. Take it back down. And so on. We know that's doing its job correctly. So very good so far. If we go into the DockingPane when it's hosted, and the blatant clue there is how big this is seeing the control here. Because once it's been resized and the DockingPane is passing messages on to the Clarion browse to say what kind of space it's got to become visible, that is also working, and so on. So it's all about the initialization, and it's a bit like a chicken and egg story, if you will. Which comes first? The Clarion browse, the list as it is, then the browse enhancer, which then takes that, but then has to talk back to it to make sure that you don't get the phantom records. During that, you've also got the initialization of the DockingPane, where in the DockingPane will only see the content as very small of what has been drawn on the screen and so on. So it will only see a certain size, and it's this priority of which does which task in which order. And I had this the other day relating to reset fields. And you could get basically, in my scenario, your reset fields when they were off in different, not necessarily different panes, but different report controls. And you wanted, what we found was, I can't show you on this, it was a particular customer's project, but I can talk you through the scenario. Does that make sense what I've said so far?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. I didn't want you to. Yeah.
One thing though, I want to just make sure. The problem with initial load, is that with ABC or the legacy as well?
It's both. I thought the initial load was only to do with. I thought it was only to do with. Sorry, when I said on the email to you, I've just got to. It's legacy is working really well, which is what I've just shown you, and the problem on the initial load is just needs to be. I thought it was just a matter of calling it, right, okay, the report control is now resized and it knows what it's doing, so on and so forth. Now go and reload accordingly. I thought it was just a case of that, and that's on the email, and I said how the ABC is now causing me an issue. But when I looked at the pair of them in much more detail, it becomes apparent that it's not necessarily just the ABC or legacy. It's actually to do with timing, because it depends on how things have been added to the screen and at which order they're being initialized in. So we need to take it away from that pure initialization, go until all the controls have been initialized and the docking pane has really taken full charge of the report control, resized it accordingly, and at that point, that's when you can tell Clarion to go and reload, which in turn will then go and get the report control to reload. So there's a lot of trickery going on behind the scenes to make it keep in sync, if you will, and so on. So that's where it was up to. And we digress, but they are directly related. I found it this week, and it was to do with the likes of report control and children. So imagine this Clarion list. Okay, so I'm on there, and that was a Clarion list, and you had a reset field on this record ID, and you reset this Clarion list, if you will, if it was a Clarion list, you reset it on the reset field. So of course, you would expect that to be your action, and so on. And because that is triggering a new selection event, that's exactly what is happening. But what I also found then, and I wonder if this has still got it. No, this hasn't got it. But in the example I was working on, if I used the up and down arrow, which doesn't create an event from the Clarion's except loop point of view, it doesn't create an event, then no resets were actually occurring. So the reset fields which are out there, there is an issue with, and I only found it as late as, I think it was Thursday afternoon. It was fixed on Friday. It's fixed now, so in the next build it will be fixed. But yes, basically there is an issue in up and down arrow on report controls to do with reset fields. So, and it's directly related to the scenario which I'm just mentioning with yours and the docking pane hosting a report control, because it's does control A see control B, and does it know that it's taken charge of it and resized, and so on and so forth. And that was the same on the other. You've got two report controls, A and B, but if they're not passing events via Clarion's except loop, I can't do any actions on it. So that also led me into this path. But the good thing is, now I've realized all that, the resets are now working, and it gives me a fighting chance on yours as well. Not yours, but the legacy browse enhance. So there is a mechanism in place. It's part of our common class. It's already been out there for quite a while. So if we have a look in the common class, not that one, but we have an add pending event. Yeah, we have an add pending event. So rather than me just going posting events, I can just add it to a pending events queue. This has actually been optimized. So in the next version, John and everybody, this will actually help you on some events if they keep triggering something like maybe an event accepted or a new selection. They're the age-old events which trigger in quick succession. Well, this mechanism will strip them out to make sure that they only actually trigger once if required, that kind of thing. But the answer lies in that. So I am just in the process of, there's a new equate, resize children, and that will be the mechanism of how it will actually work. So long story short, that's how I'm going to be able to fix it, if all that makes sense. So basically, go into this. What's actually happened there is just keep an eye on this area here, the actual size, and watch for some repaint. Okay. Okay. And basically, what it's doing there is, by the time this at the moment is being initialized, the Clarion list is probably only about so tall. Hence why you're only getting that many records. Then the DockingPane takes charge of it and says, okay, I need, well, no, sorry, no, then the browse enhancer takes charge of it, enhances the size of that. The DockingPane then takes charge of the report control and resizes it accordingly. But the trouble is, I think the DockingPane is currently getting hold of it and resizing it far too early. So I'm going to do it via the pending events.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is my task for tomorrow morning. So once you're online, which I think you're 5 hours behind, once you're online,
Yes.
feel free, drop me an email, say, how have you got on? Worst case scenario, I will send you the beta of what you've got here. So, and you can see it's resizing, giving you the data you're after, and so on. So I can send you that beta of that. Absolutely no problem. That's the legacy one working in front of you now in DockingPanes. But I kind of prefer to pass you the finished beta, if you will, because it's just better.
Okay. Okay. If you don't mind, Andy, I got a couple questions just real quick. One is, we installed the latest update for Noyantis 19.2, and it seems on a lot of screens, once we installed that, right-clicking kills the application. And I was just wondering, like with the command bar, I noticed like all the Noyantis templates, obviously I changed it to CodeJock 19.2, but then at the very last tab in the global setting for the Noyantis templates, there you choose the Noyantis version. Well, some of them, like the
you don't choose. No, that's just an update history.
Yeah, I was just wondering, like, if some of them didn't have the latest update in that last tab. I'm just wondering if that's an issue or anything like that.
No, the only ones, DockingPane wouldn't have a late, because this is only beta, it's not been formally released. Command bar hasn't been formally released. So although you had command bar with 19.2, you're still using the exact same template. The only thing what's changed is the NYS lib to give you the 19.2 option. So the template you had is actually the same one. It was just rebuilt.
Okay, I'm just curious, like, we did this update. Now, when you right click in the application on anywhere where there's like a Noyantis, where there's like, CodeJock control, it just crashes the application. I'm just wondering, is there anything you know of about that, or is that something?
No, I mean, let's let me bring one of the tests out, because obviously it goes through the test. So just 1 second. I'm just bringing back go here and see what I'm doing. No. Testing templates completed. CodeJock compatibility 19.2. So these are 19.2, and they're also set to reg-free.com as well. So I'm not going to open them. I'm just going to, I'm not going to compile them. I'm just going to run. Don't matter. Calendar, any of them. So, I mean, there's right click as you would expect, usual things. Or maybe insert there. So, so that's that one. Command bar, you said? Oh, chart. I don't know if chart has a right click. Let's take a look. But yes, it's 19.2 as I say. No, that doesn't have any right click. What about any of the advanced? No. That's zoom. But no.
I'm not sure which one it is. If it's
Try report control.
DockingPanes or one of them. And again, I'm just saying we did the update and nothing else, and then our application seems to crash when you do. Again, I'm not pointing fingers or anything. I just thought I'd
No,
check.
come here to report, but no, definitely not aware. There you go. I mean, I'm on the right report control here, and we're changing. Right click, delete. I'm going to remove this anyway in a second. So no, not aware of anything on them. Any others on a track maybe or something like that? Do we have a right click? No, we don't have a right click. That's probably a poor example. What about this one? Yeah, I have a right click on there, insert. Yeah. So yeah, I'm not seeing, but I'll just try, like I said, but no, definitely not aware of anything like that. You shouldn't be experiencing, there's no reason for that.
The only thing that we're doing different is that
this is a beta, so, but I mean, we've got the right click, add to quick
access. We do our stuff runs in a remote session. I don't know if that could possibly have anything to do with CodeJock crashing them now, but.
Is there any way you can test it locally and then to take that out of the equation?
Yeah, I'll try that.
Yeah, I would do that. What do you do? Run them through an RDP?
Yeah, we do. We go through RDP, and it seems to crash throughout the program.
I mean, as I'm demonstrating here, I've just done report control. Really not aware. Oh, you said DockingPane. Let's have a look at that one as well. But no, you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be doing that. It's nothing more than an event that's being passed back to us, and then we're acting accordingly on it. So there's no reason why. Is any right click on this? No, DockingPanes don't really have. I mean, I'm right clicking on lots of controls, but we've got carrying. There you go. Then we've got a right click on a window, and that's. Oh no, I ain't got a right click on there. It's a pity.
Okay, I'll investigate this further. One more thing. Do you remember that thing with the tooltips when we were having an issue when we were remoting Windows 2016 servers? The command bars don't show tooltips. I was wondering if you ever had a chance to look at that.
I didn't yet. I'm sorry, no.
Okay.
That was just on the server, and I say I've got a server here to do it. Send me a reminder on that. Obviously, let's get the report control put to bed first, so to speak, and corrected, and so on. But then I can soon, do a test here on our. We've got a 2016 or a 2019, so I can soon test that here.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So, but yeah, I am concerned on the. Have a look at the other, but as I've just shown you, there's absolutely no reason why you should be getting any kind of issue on that. No, it's perfectly fine.
All right, thank you, Andy.
Okay. Right, we are going to have to wrap up, but Alejandro, very, very, very quickly. Oh, I've got a microphone. Oh, Alex, just to finish up on Alex, don't forget to, once you're online, drop me the email tomorrow. The worst case scenario is I'll send you the beta of what we've got, but best case is you'll get the beta of the opening speed, the opening fixed as well.
All right, great. Thank you.
Yeah. So sorry for the delay. I genuinely on Friday thought it was a case of, oh, I just need to trap the initialization complete and get it to resync accordingly. And I went home on a bit of a high, if you will. But when I come in today, it was a case of, oh, this is a little more than I think. So I at first thought, did some more digging, and that's when it led me down the path of the initialization, you know, which comes first, the chicken or the egg, that type of thing. But the good thing is, I had the similar scenario with the resets last Friday, Thursday/Friday, and you know they're corrected. So it's going to be the similar type of fix. So, but anyway, so worst case is, you know, send me a message when you're online, and I'll get a beta across to you.
All right, awesome. Thanks very much.
No problem. Speak soon. So Alejandro, I really,
hello, Andy. How are you?
I do have to. You've got as fast as possible. What can you tell us?
Yes, if you want and if you have time, I can show how I solved. Did you remember the last Monday? I show you.
Oh, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, now when I open it, it loads quickly.
It's lovely.
And I found, sorry?
Yeah, nice. I was saying lovely, very nice.
Yes, and I found my problem, and I think the problem was when I tried to open it, okay, the code was fighting with a resizer, okay, the Clarion resizer, and my own code where I put get in, for example,
we did say that's right about which place.
Yes. Sorry?
That's one of the things we discussed last week about the where to load the data, like the window open.
No. But it doesn't was the load data. Let me show you. Here, for example, it's okay. It was about the resize the window. So the load data works very nice. So get in, and I let comment to show you. This one. If you see, I call this get ini, okay, and I try to resize myself the window, but it's resized to the initial size, okay, and after that the DockingPane resize all the control. But if I open it as maximize, it resize again, okay. So the process was 2 or 3 times resizing the window, so it was the problem. The other thing was, did you understand what I mean?
Yes. So just to make sure we've got that. So if you open maximize, it was calling the resize, but you already had the resize.
Exactly. So if you see here, it's fine. Can you see?
Yep.
So if you see, I will open it, this one again. Okay, it's called my filter. So it worked really fine and faster. So let's go to do something. I will put in the filter with the letter A. And you see the DockingPane works fine, okay? And the load data is after the event opening window.
Yes, I saw, yes.
So it's really nice, it's working fine. So the problem was myself. I tried to resize myself, and after that the window tried to resize with the maximize. So there was the problem, okay?
Okay. So that's good to know. That's good to know for all of us to have tips like that, because we also do similar things. That's good.
Another thing, sorry, and the last thing was I put it here. Sorry, it's for don't forget. Prop hide. I did this. After the self open, I hide the window. Okay. So and I restart and sorry, and I unhide the window at the end. Okay. So.
Okay. And I'm just making a note of that. I've done. It weren't okay. Just 1 second. Did that help?
The hide window? Yes, absolutely. It's helped me because it's load all of this, initialize all of this control, everything, and after that, it's open the window. Look here.
On the DockingPane, does it not have an option for that?
Where? Sorry, maybe.
So, okay, so go to the DockingPane extension for the
yes.
For that there, the content management.
Okay. Is here?
Hide window until attached to pane.
Yes.
The one above. So that should be hiding the window for you.
Do you want to try? Maybe.
No. Let me investigate here to make sure that's still the case. Because you're on the beta.
Okay.
And I better make sure that is actually still working.
I will try after the webinar because I'm curious to see if that works. So let me see.
That here. Did, but we have got the code would be in the class. No, you wouldn't see it there. It would be in the class.
Okay, I will check the class. So did you see here? I unhide the window.
Yeah.
Okay. So I hide the window at the beginning to load all of this control. I didn't realize what you say about the option on the DockingPane, but I will try. I'm very curious. So I hide here and I hide before to exit of the .init procedure. And for me, this kind of things works fine now. So very nice.
The opening this week compared to last week is very nice.
Yes.
Okay, it's 15 minutes past. I have to be home and changed in half an hour and out, which is not going to happen. So Wendy's going to shout at me. So I do need to go. So sorry, everybody.
Okay. No, it's okay. Thank you very much, Andy.
No, thank you. Good tips there. Thank you very much, everybody. John and everybody else, of course. We're back next week. We're going to take a look at new releases of the DockingPane. If it's only in the beta, the people who've got the betas, new releases of the DockingPane along with the ReportControl, and then we're going to actually probably have a late one where we try and optimize the speed of it. Let's cram out every bit of speed increase that we can do. Okay, until next week. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you then.
See you. Bye.
Thanks. No, it's not letting me. I'm going to think I'm bringing. Oh, there we are. There we go.